much understanding that there's much bigger goals for this team at play, but the fact that you guys are the only team so far that has clinched a playoff spot at this point, is that something that means something to this team, or just how do you react to that?
Um, we didn't celebrate it or even talk about it. So I think like you said, we do have an awareness where we are, right, and that there are bigger things to come. But that's not something we talked about or celebrated. This team's gone to the playoffs before, so just kind of not. It's that playoff focus, improve every game. Try to get to the playoffs and with great health and playing well.
We've talked so much about Evan Mobley's growth this season, and a lot of it's been individual that we've talked about, but specifically the other side of how he's making others better. Like are you seeing him grow and not just individually being better, but specifically making his teammates better?
Yeah, I think. Well, it starts with his communication is better. He's becoming more extroverted. I think within the group and with his coaches. From what I've seen, there's been growth from the beginning of the year, so that's important. And then I always say he's a fantastic decision maker. This is a decision making sport. He's got the ball in his hands a fair amount, and it's rare you say, "Oh man, what a silly play that was by Evan," or "Why did he go there?" Like he reads the court really well and makes the right decision. Whether and sometimes that's a shot, sometimes it's getting it to a teammate, but has really kind of improved in those two areas team wise, if that makes sense.
Yeah, hey, Donovan shouted out Evan the other night for first she said for yelling, calling for the ball to shoot that three. Then he
Yeah.
took a step back and said, "Well, he didn't really yell because it
It's
is
not-
Evan, right?"
Yeah.
But are those moments that kind of show that growth that you're talking
Yeah,
about?
he's just becoming more assertive, and he's still got growth, right? He still doesn't understand how good he is. But did any of us at 23 years old really know, who we are um, and but also speaks to his humility. Like he doesn't want to, he doesn't want to draw attention to himself. But I'd love for him to be, more assertive. That's great. He called for it, and then that wing three, yeah, like that was surprising because that looked like Ray Allen coming down, like just hey, I'm teeing this thing up. It's a big shot, big moment, no hesitation. It's a great moment for him and for us.
Coach, after one of the most emotional wins of the season, you've talked a lot about how bringing the team back and kind of not dimming down to a team that's not on the playoff level like the Portland Trailblazers tonight. Was there something that you did behind the scenes with them to kind of realize where you are?
No, I think early on in the season I do that and I give the speech, appropriate fear, we got to stay. But our locker room's so strong. I always say we have a mature team. They know how to handle these games. They've done it all year, so I didn't say anything. I probably won't say anything before the game. They know what they have to do in games like this.
And obviously, also today, Naquan Tomlin was upgraded to a two-way. What did you guys see from him, and then also the time of JT Thor being here on this team?
Man, yeah, more about Quant. I just obviously, the front office and our G League staff, they watch him in the G League intensely. We check in and out, and so when he did come on the 10-day, we had background information, and then he impressed right off the bat how quickly he picked things up, and then his energy. Even in the, small sample size, only a few minutes, we're all like, wow, this kid, length, energy, plays extremely hard, and then his demeanor, like that's part of it, right? And it's just like a humble, always has a smile on his face. That stuff counts. When you bring someone into your locker room, it all matters. And then we obviously have our collaborative talk on it, and we felt like he kind of earned that, and Listen, JT was good for us. There was no doubt. So you make hard decisions in this league. It's really hard. JT's got a lot of talent and he'll land on his feet. But like I said, hard. Never an easy decision.
Tom. Thanks, BJ. Kenny, from a coaching standpoint, are you more bothered that you fall behind 25-3, or impressed that you come back from it?
Yeah, Tom, I do think we do a, you know, we amongst our staff, we do a review of that game. And I don't want to sound like a curmudgeon, but there are a lot of things we could have done better. I'd say that. And part of that beginning was our tentativeness, you know, and kind of on our heels, both sides of the ball, right? Almost, it was really kind of uncharacteristic. So I don't know what light to put that in. Is that negative? Is it, you know, but you know, we kind of have to, and I felt like it happened the first time in the Garden, you know, Boston Garden. So we and a little bit here, like just getting off to knowing we belong, you know, believing that we belong. I didn't feel that, and then we kind of, especially when I thought the bench came in, and that kind of started, like those guys kind of, Sam and Ty, and they kind of, you know, there was no tentativeness. They kind of flipped a switch for us, and we got more aggressive and more confident, and that was everything. So that's kind of a mixed bag answer, but definitely not saying, like, we're not in there saying, oh man, we're so good, and it's like, man, we could have done a lot of things better. And the truth of the matter is, we went down 17 in the third quarter too. So you got to look at that. You just can't look at the result. Man, we got a great win. Sure, it was good for our confidence, good for our resiliency and all that, but great feedback when we have to play. We have so much feedback from playing the Celtics. The best teams, they challenge you and they really get your mind moving. And man, if we play them again, X, Y, Z, we can do better. And there's a lot we can do better.
Danny.
With 23 games left in the season, you guys have a one-game lead over OKC for the best record in basketball. How much does it matter finishing with that and the home court advantage throughout the playoffs that would come with it?
I mean, sure, home court. It's not a. I mean, we're aware, but it's not a topic of conversation. Again, that just goes like where we are extremely process oriented. Like I don't talk about winning. Like it's not win one for the Gippers. There's none of that, right? It's like let's keep. Here's our playoffs focus. Here's what we knew. Let's just keep hammering these principles and keep doing it over and over. Keep doing it better. And I love the Bill Walsh, right? The results take care of itself, right? Like if you're doing these things, and that's kind of our approach. So we haven't talked about it. Again, the results are happening. I think because these guys are doing what we're emphasizing.
And in the last 7 games, you guys have really shot up in offensive rebound rate. I think you're second in the NBA in that time. And I know you've mentioned having an emphasis on that, which you've talked about all year. But what do you think has been different in this stretch than earlier in the year?
I don't know. Listen, we've emphasized it all year. I would say post All-Star, our kind of like presentation to them was we got to do this better. We're doing better, but we can do better, and we've been hammering on it, right? Like again, it's one of our, if you look at the bullet points of our presentation to them, it's like, man, we have to offensive rebound, and our guys, they've done a doubling down on it, but they've done a great job. My kind of philosophy on it is that in the playoffs the game slows down, and so I think you can even go to the boards more, because teams aren't, like I said, it slows it down a little. That's facts. So can we win the possession battle? I think the Celtics we didn't play a great, but +7 in the possession game, and that was one of the keys. I know Missoula said it, after the game. So we're going to keep emphasizing it.
Jeff.
Hey, Kenny, you have a comfortable lead in the East now, and my question is, sometimes teams have huge leads and then the playoffs come and they might not be ready. So how do you make sure that doesn't happen to you guys?
Yeah, I think we're safeguarding against that. I've been part of a team that that Hawks team I was with. We had a huge lead. I don't know. I think more than what we have now, right? And we didn't take our foot off the gas, but we started resting guys a lot. We really tried to almost over strategize it, and I was part of it, so it wasn't Bud or me. Like we all like, man, let's get let's kind of strategize this so we're ready for the playoffs. And I think all of us, when we look back on it, man, did we do that too much? So with this team, I think it's different. I think it's like, man, there's almost like right now there's a sense of urgency. We're not going to wait to 3 games before the playoffs and say, man, now we got to really focus for us it's right. It was post All-Star, and that was the message to the players. Like our playoff focus starts now. Our playoff prep starts now, and we keep. I think it keeps guys motivated too, right? They don't take their foot off the pedal. They're still like, man, we and part of it we haven't like Donovan, we haven't done anything yet, right? In the playoffs, so we better. Maybe the Celtics can take their foot off the gas. Maybe other teams we can't do that.
Tim.
Kenny, the old adage, maybe cliche, to be the champ, you got to beat the champ. As you just said, you didn't knock Boston out, but just psychologically, mentally, how big is a win, especially in those circumstances, Friday night?
It helps. It helps. It helps that we know we can go toe to toe with them. Is that the switch? Is it right? Especially with that 2 guys out. I'm not sure. It's like, oh yeah, like I said, we can dominate them. We're better. We're not. We know if we do have to face them, it'll be a tough series. But we know leading up to them, it's going to be tough. Really focusing on us. But yeah, I think it gives our guys a little more confidence going in.
The combined plus minus for the bench Friday night was plus 92.
Yeah.
Can you speak to the incredible performances that you've seen off the bench and what Dre now means to the bench and that effort coming off the bench?
Yeah, and that's that's been our emphasis kind of all year, right? We're going to play 10, you even can play 11, and I think when you do that all year, it boosts guys' confidence, and I'm a part of this. I'm going to get minutes. I'm going to get real minutes. If we're playing well, they'll keep us in. I think that was a little bit of culmination of the all year. Play your bench, improve your bench, and then monitor your the big minutes for your stars. So we'll see. When the playoffs come, that's going to be a whole nother question we'll be talking about. How many guys are playing? Are you going to do the same thing? Are you going to? But we're going to finish it playing 10. We're going to keep doing it, and I'd say it's a testament to Kobe, really. Like when you go 12 deep, I've been on plenty of teams where you really have 9 rotation players that you really trust, 8 sometimes. We can go 12 with Javante. You could even 13 deep. I mean, that's a real luxury.
Can I sneak one more?
We're on time.
Oh yeah, real quick. Just do you sense competition amongst the guys coming off the bench? Not in the sense of competing with one another, but not wanting to let the other guys down. Zero.
And that's a phenomenal thing about this team. They get it, and it's really hard, I think, to get professional players to understand that, because they want contracts. They want to get paid, right? They want you want to do well for yourself, and they're really guys that they understand the big picture. They understand what this is about, what this team is about, and so I felt I'd say it's close to perfection in terms of the spirit and the attitude, and guys saying, okay, that's what I'll do. If that's what's needed, that's what I'm doing tonight. Ice, what did he play the other night? 12 minute, Ice could easily say, man, I'm 25-minute game guy. Like, what are you doing? Like, there's been none of that. lock into their minutes and they give it to all. Dean Wade, same thing. Could say Dean Wade could say, man, I look at my net rating, coach. I should be, tie all of them, right? But they get it.
No.
All right.
As far as Donovan not playing, was that a planned day off?
Planned.
Or he just needed a day off?
No, planned. We planned it, and I always say I put my hand up first. I'm the first one to push it, and March is a beast. 16 games in 29 days, and if our number one goal is to stay healthy coming into the playoffs, we have to be strategic in what we're doing.